and happy Tuesday. I am back with our Johanna Basford planner page, and I have a couple of tools with me today. I have a magnifying glass and my magnifying glasses because in the last video the glasses were not enough for me to see what I was doing, so I bought a second tool in case I need it. Let's come in just a little bit closer and have a little look. Well, where am I going to start? I think I'm going to start with our plants. Okay, I like colouring plants, so why not? What colour? Well, I think this is quite a good colour. Staedtler Design Journey pencils. This is number 52. Okay, and I think this is quite a nice warm green. I think it'll go with all the colours we've done already. So let's come in a bit closer. I am actually going to come in significantly closer because like that, because I can move it around a little bit. So our first plant is this one here, and I'm just going to block in these little circles. Ideally it would be nice to make them a bit dark on the outside than the centre, but size doesn't really give us that luxury, so I'm just going to block them in. Now I think some of this bit is the pot, so I'm going to colour that in green. I'm going to do all the pots the same colour and all the plants the same colour. Now I realise that is a little bit odd, that wouldn't happen, but I think it just makes it easier for me and hopefully for you as well. And it ties it together and makes colour choice a little bit easier as well. So there's that one. We've got this one up here. My eyes are actually a little bit better today. I mean, this afternoon. I recorded the other bit of this morning. It's still really dull outside, and I don't know how long it's going to be until my eyes go nope. Now I can see here that I've missed a bit with the background. I've kept these out, the 16 which I used for that. I'm just going to put a little bit around here where I didn't go to the edge. There we go. But I don't need my magnifying glass quite yet. Now out of the window we have bushes and we have this plant. I think these need to be a different colour to this. Just because they overlap each other really, so we won't be able to see what's going on. So let's just colour these in. Now we've got quite a big area to these, so I'm thinking I might just try and lighten off a little bit towards the tip, just to make them a little bit more interesting. So more layers down here and a bit less up here. You could even use a bit of a lighter green on the end if you can be bothered. Sounds like I'm in a lazy mood. Maybe I am. I didn't get up very early. I slept until 7:30, but I was really tired, so I needed it. But usually I like to be up and with it, but I will be all week. So it's Sunday and we have nothing on, and it's been a while. We've had plans at weekends for quite a while now and things going on, so it's been nice to have, got a day at home. I've decided not to go out. I really should have a walk, but I haven't. I've just decided because not really because I got up late, but I wanted to catch up with some work, and there's always so much I can be doing, which is lovely. It keeps me going, and I'll be on Skype later, so to my sister and my parents. I think we'll be chattering about plans for my mum's birthday. I'm just going to push up. Oh, we've got one here. This stick here behind, I'm thinking that isn't the plant. I'm thinking it's like a support that the plant's growing around, so I'm not going to colour that in green. Okay. Yeah, so we'll probably my mum's birthday in March. It's a while yet, but my sister was trying to make plans for it, and it's Mother's Day the week after. on the 30th of March. A little reminder for any of you in the UK. I don't think it's the same date in all that. I know America's is in May. I think it might be in Australia too in May, but I'm not sure. And of course not all of you are from those countries. I'm not sure about any others, whether all countries even do it. But so Mother's Day is a tricky one because my sister likes to see her family, and because her daughters live in the same town as my parents, then it makes sense for her to come over. But she actually prefers to be at home, really. But it's up to her, you know, if she's at home, then she doesn't get to see her mum or her daughters. So, you know, I tend not to really be bothered by the day. I like to spoil my mum, but I'm not bothered about my boy spoiling me. It just doesn't, I don't know, it's just not a thing that I'm interested in, really. So I don't really do it. And my husband still finds it hard. I think his, you know, with his mother, I think his mother passed away about 4 or 5 years ago now. But it's still a tough day for him. And I know some people it is, however long goes by. And it almost makes me think that maybe we shouldn't do it at all as a nation, you know, because it can be tricky. But I know that's quite controversial. A lot of people really like it. I know my my father-in-law doesn't like it either. He just sharpening my pencil. I've got a sore shoulder. I've been really silly. I put something behind me, and I've been stretching back to reach it over a series of days, and my shoulder hurts now. Obviously the twisting isn't good. It's very silly, and it's my colouring arm, but it's okay when I'm colouring. I'm leaning it on the desk, but I need to look after myself. I didn't think that it would be a problem, and then it started hurting. Oh, I missed some up here. I'm just going to go back up here. And then I realised what I'd done. It's like, oh, silly girl. It seemed more convenient, but obviously, well, tidier to have it there. Never mind. I nearly coloured those. They're pots of pencil, not plants. Oh dear. Oh, I gotta wipe my nose, give you a chance to catch up. Don't colour the pencils. You can colour them, you can if you want, colour them green. I've just noticed there's a little Christmas tree, which is interesting. Can you see it? Did you see it? Nope. There, look. I think, do I do it this colour? Yeah, why not? There it is. Just trying to make sure I'm covering the right bits. Concentrating a little bit, but anyway, I'm sure if I rest up, and I've moved the thing that I was reaching, so it's now in the normal place, so I should be fine. Again, I'm going to do these outdoor bushes the same colour as the outdoor bushes in the top picture. Oh, I can hear my dryer beeping. Husband's down in the kitchen, hopefully he will sort it. I've been trying to get him moving today. It's so hard, because the way he sits, he has so much stuff on the floor around his feet that he can't even just like exercise his sort of toes and wiggle his toes up barely. I don't know how he does it. He's like the complete opposite to me in some ways. Like, he likes being surrounded by stuff. It makes him feel safe and secure, whereas I hate being surrounded by clutter. It makes me feel claustrophobic. It's so different. I'm just grabbing my 57 for a moment, because around this plant is a bit messy. I'm just filling in. I'm being fussy. It's okay to be fussy though. There we go. Now, I think those are all the ones on there, so we're going to go up, no, down. Now these plants have like a variegated edge, and they are big, so I think I'm going to do the outside in a different colour, just to break my own rule a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll do the outside of it in the colour that I do the outdoor plants, and then it will tie together somewhat. But I'm just blocking this in really. It's quite dark and dreary today, and I think that's what affected my eyes earlier. It was, there's just no light coming in the window, and yeah, making it very dark. And I think it's raining. I don't know if it is. I mean, if it is, it's, you know, light drizzle, but I was hoping it was going to snow, because we're supposed to be having this freezing cold weather. We did have a frost. Then I saw something, a headline, you know, the newspapers, they like to exaggerate, saying that we were going to get like -17. I was like, no, we're not. I mean, the north of Scotland, on the top of the mountains, maybe. Certainly won't happen here. I've never had it that cold. It's just want to sell their newspaper or get you to have a look at the article so you can look at all their adverts and things. Oh dear. I try not to click on these things. Sometimes I get tempted. I didn't with that one. Where are we going? We got these plants in the middle, look, under the clock. I'm going to come back and do that one after. I'm going to do all of this colour first. It's easier for me. I could do the apples in this colour too. This feels like a sort of Granny Smith apple type colour. What do you think? Should we might do them red. It's a nice warm, inviting colour. A red delicious or something. Or pink lady. Brayburn, they're red and they're a bit green as well, aren't they? And Jazz, those are the ones we used to buy. Don't buy apples much anymore. They don't seem to suit me. It's very old. I don't really know why. But anyway. Oh, now I can see a bit I've missed in there, look. But that's okay. That's the problem when you do your background first. You miss bits, but then if you do it last, you find bits of the main picture that you've missed. So I've kept my background colours separate so I can grab them, because I knew that this would happen. I was pretty sure that was a bit of one. I had the most delicious lunch, some lovely bread. It was fresh yesterday actually. Well, I assume it was cooked yesterday. We bought it yesterday from the market. I assume they cook them overnight or very early in the morning. That's what bakeries normally do, isn't it? Well, they always used to. But it's very nice. I toasted it though. Made it really delicious. Yeah, I'm just going to fill that bit in. So grab the 222 is what I use for that bit. In there. I think I need to do a bit of that now. Got any other plants? Not? No. Right, time for the old specs. The eyes are going. It's good noise, isn't it? I think I'm going to use this colour. It's quite dark, but I think it'll work. This is 55. Oh, hold it out of shot. So we're going to do the edges of this one. I am really struggling to see. If I close one eye, it's easier. I don't know why. Yeah. Maybe my one eye's struggling more than the other, I don't know. I just swapped my magnifying specs for magnifying glass, but I still have to have one eye shut. It's very weird colouring through a magnifying glass because I feel slightly disconnected. It's like when I have before looked through a camera and coloured, a phone, like a phone camera, to use the magnifying. It's very weird because you're seeing yourself on a screen, not with your eye directly, if that makes sense. I feel like I need it to be closer, but then you can see it. It's a very strong magnifying glass. But yeah, you can see it if I hold it there. Maybe that's better. I'm using the glasses as a magnifying glass. They've got a slightly different strength in. That's better. I put them on but kept them on the end of my nose. Seems to be a better magnification. God, my eyes. I feel like I need a new pair of specs, but I don't know whether it's just the light. I didn't have this trouble at all yesterday, so I don't know. Right, there's that. I think that works quite well. Looking up at my screen. Now we need to do our outdoor trees. Oh, there they are. You can see these little bushes around here. Can you see? Okay, yeah. Good. I'm trying to do a little rounded movement and keep it a little bit uneven, so it looks more like a bush. I think there's a cake. I guess there's often cake in offices, isn't there? People's birthday. There's a tradition to bring in cakes. I didn't used to like doing that because I didn't eat cake. So people would bring in cake or sweets, or usually cakes, and I wouldn't eat them. And then when it was my birthday, there was the expectation I was going to bring them in, even though I didn't ever share them. And I know it. I was like, oh, that's okay, but I don't know if I want to bring in cake, unhealthy and all that thing. So I didn't really know what to do. I think I just did it in the end. But the problem was that when there were ones left over, I couldn't take them home. You couldn't leave them. I think I left them over, and I think I left them for the cleaners, and then they didn't take them because I didn't speak to the cleaners, never saw them, you know. So I should have left a note. You know, I'm just going to try and darken it just along that edge there. So I'm just building out the colour. My husband's talking to me, and I'm in here. Hang on. Right, back to this one. Yeah, my husband was saying, it's quite funny, he said he was just watching TV and he saw the beginning titles of a film and he's guessed what happened at the end. He said it's Scott of the Antarctic. We, yes, it's, if you don't know, if you know, you know, I guess, but yeah. He gets really upset if I spoil films for him, but I sort of say, don't get attached to the main character or something like that, you know. He'll get really upset because then I've ruined it. And he doesn't want to watch it, but he gets upset if, you know, if he's not prepared. Anyway, there's that bit. So I've just tried to make this a little bit darker so you can just see where one ends and the other begins, sort of thing. There we go. Yeah, I think I've got the position of the magnifying glasses just right now. I can see. I'm going to sharpen this pencil though. I'm struggling to keep it in the line. Not that that normally stops me. Right. So I'm trying to build up the colour a little bit more at the bottom than the top, so that because of this overlap. So here I will put darker, just more layers. we can sort of fade it out. Oh, I've got hiccups, I'm sorry. It's not long since lunch. That's some toast. I really should start experimenting with healthier options. It's whole grain toast with olive oil. It's really nice, and the problem is I just really like it, and it's quick and easy. Although I was looks like this is another bush here, doesn't it? Or is that another bush there? No, I think this is, because it's a bit of this one. Yeah, I was doing a crossword today. I did have a bit more time, but everyone was waiting so I cooked a piece of toast, just one to start with, and then someone else cooked one son cooked his egg, and he had egg on toast, and then the other son cooked a different type of egg when I'd fried the other scrambled egg on toast. Then I'm just doing this frog green. Right, now I'm going to leave green for a bit. We're going to do the cupboards and the furniture basically. This is a filing cabinet, but this looks more like it could be a wooden piece of furniture. So I'm going to do my sort of wooden furniture in, I could use that colour. I'm tempted to use, I wouldn't normally use this colour for furniture, this 73 sort of burnt sienna, but I think it'll keep that warmth that I said I was looking for. So we're going to start with this cupboard now. Just having a quick look at it. It looks like we've got 2 drawers here and then a cubby in there. That's how I'm seeing it. I'm going to colour it all in this brown to start with. And then we want this sort of cubby to be a little bit darker because it's set in, if you know what I mean. So there'll be some shadow in here. So I'm just going to put another layer of the same colour in here, keeping it nice and simple really. And then just tidying this up a bit. Now you could go even darker if you wanted, you know, put one of the dark browns on or something like that, but I'm keeping it quite straightforward like that. Now we're going to move her on and do the desk, and again we might have a bit of shadow coming here, so we can just make that bit, the top of the leg, a little bit darker. We'll do the same on this one. Yeah, I don't think watching a film called Scott of the Antarctic would be very wise today. It's not very warm weather. I think you'd end up feeling quite cold, wouldn't you? Right, so I'm thinking this top ledge is overlapping the other one, so I'm going to just put a little shadow line under there, like that. And I'm also going to do this shelf. Are we in shot? Yeah. Here, in the same colour. There we go. Now we have our window, and I'm thinking the blind. I'm not going to do the window frame in this colour, but the blind might be a wooden blind. You can see how we're adding warmth all the time with this colour, and I think it just lifts the sort of whole theme of being in a sort of office. I always think offices are very grey. You know, I mean, I'm in an office right now. It's very brown. There's a lot of wood in it, actually, but it's not the same as a work office. You know, it's a home office. It's very different. I can do this bit in here as well. Again, just doing a evenish layer to start with, remembering that bit. Remember I was a bit confused as to where it started and ended, because this colour's quite similar to the background. It might just sort of fade off and be okay. There we go, in there. Oh, that's a bit fiddly, isn't it? It's going to be more fiddly when we colour the books, but anyway. There's a possibility I might do them all the same colour, but I may not. I haven't quite decided yet. I probably won't be doing that bit today. We'll see. Is that a book? I think so. We'll do that. Now I'm going to go back into the areas that want to be a bit darker here. The little cubbies again. I just wondered then whether you could see what I was doing. Stop to look up at the camera. So all these little cubbies be a little bit more shadowy, a little bit darker. Like that. And then we have our final cupboard. And just looking carefully, because we've got this border around the edge, but it seems to stop and this cupboard seems to be in front of it. Do you see? So I think that line is part of the cupboard, but these folders obviously aren't going to be brown. I'm just doing this edge first, like that. I'm going to twist a little bit. There we go. And again, this bit's inside, but we'll go over it with another layer after we've sort of done all of the cupboard bit. It's interesting because I thought that this planner was a bit less detailed than last year's, but I'm now not completely sure whether I was right there. Yeah, this is certainly a very detailed picture. We'll see what happens with next year's. I'm guessing next year's will have Magical Worlds pictures in it, which fortunately aren't particularly detailed. Well, some are, but you know, not generally. Like the Rooms of Wonder had a lot of detailed pictures in, and Small Victories did, but it sort of worked out okay because they were sort of individual images rather than a whole detailed scene, which I find more daunting. Really trying to make that look a bit darker. That's better. There we go. I hope my hair isn't in shot. I'm getting really close to the page. Make a really entertaining video if it was just a shot of my top of my head. I've done that before. I have put my hair in shot before, but my current setup, it's quite difficult, I think, to do that. My camera's quite low. I think I'd hit my head on it before I got my hair under it. It's probably a good thing. I've decided there's too much stuff in this office. I think they need to have a tidy up. Have a shredding session or archiving and put it in archives. I don't think I've ever worked in an office with this many folders and files. Not just for one person, there's only one desk. Okay, there's that one. Let's move this way. So we've got this shelf first. This person's got awards, not for tidiness. I like the idea they've got a plant on their desk though. I've never worked in an office where people had plants. One place I used to work at, there were plants. There were big ones, sort of floor standing pots like this, and a company would come in and water them. You know, it was a sort of, they were hired plants, and they could do that, which was interesting. They used to also have hired paintings in the office. I can't imagine offices could afford to do that anymore. I mean, this was back in the 1990s, I guess, and you know, we got free lunch and everything. I mean, I guess it was sort of, we didn't get paid as much as a result, but I didn't used to take my free lunch because I didn't like it. I wanted my own. I was a bit shy of going to get it, for one thing, because I was a vegan at the time. I used to feel like I didn't want to ask whether there was a vegan option, and they used to sometimes do a sort of tofu, cold tofu and watercress salad, which was the vegan option, and it just always looked revolting. The tofu was sort of dyed bright yellow, like, I don't know what they did. It was just vile. So I didn't want that. I would go and get a banana, have free fruit, but you only allowed one piece of fruit, and of course, but it was the only thing I had. People go and take a couple of bits. But it's like, oh, the servers, the canteen ladies would tell you all. But anyway, some people would be very naughty, and there were two sites I'm going to put in here, and we were on their little site, and they just did like little cold lunches, sandwiches and salads, that sort of thing. And just going to colour those bits in. And then on the main site, they would do the cooked dinners. And some people would go and get a cold lunch and put it in their bag for their tea, and then go and eat a cooked dinner in the other place. And because it was different staff on a different site, they never knew. You were supposed to just get one or the other, but they didn't really check. But then I suppose I didn't get one at all, so that person had mine. But I remember when I did my work experience with school, they had free dinners at that place too. That was an insurance company as well. Whereas where my dad worked, which was engineering, a sort of factory type place, they had to buy their food. Though they always finished early on a Friday. I think Friday afternoons off. Can't remember. Well, they finished early anyway on a Friday, because the factory wasn't open in the afternoon. So even though he didn't work in the factories, he worked in the office. He was a software engineer rather than a dirty rag engineer type thing, you know what I mean? People used to always, because he said he was a software engineer, before people really realised what that was, because, you know, people weren't into computers and stuff, they just assumed he wore a boiler suit, had a dirty rag hanging out of his pocket, you know. He didn't like that very much, but I don't see anything wrong with it. For me, I remember someone saying to me once, oh, I've got a job, but I only work in a supermarket. I was like, that's good, you've got a job, you know. You're working, you're, you know, getting experience. It was young. You know, you're getting life experience, you're getting money, you can save up towards things or whatever, you know. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah, someone else saying to me, oh, I haven't got qualifications, didn't do well at school, and yet he's been in the job the whole time since he left. And I was like, you've been working, you know, it's great, it doesn't matter. Not everyone is suited for school. The thing is, I went to a grammar school where you had to have an entry exam and stuff, and I did it, but that doesn't mean I think everyone else should. My children didn't, you know. think they possibly could have, but we didn't want them to go down that route, so they didn't, you know. I actually felt that they would struggle to fit in because I did. It might have been okay. Right, the final floor, do this long cupboard. Yeah, I think you're expected to have a certain type of background, which I didn't have, nor did my boys. The dad did, but he wasn't. I don't know if he did an entrance. We didn't have entrance exams back in the day. You had to just do well enough on your 11 plus exam, and if you did well you could apply place at the grammar, but he was already at a private school by then. He wished he hadn't gone, but his parents still felt that have always felt that it was the best place for him. It's impossible to know without a time machine or an alternative universe. You just can't tell, can you? It's like, I think my sister said to me once, she said she was very offended because she's homeschooling her children, and she was like, well, do you think it was the better thing to do? And I said, well, we'll have no way of knowing. And she was offended, and I didn't mean it like, you know, I thought it was bad, I thought it was good. We just can't compare. There's no sort of you know, I guess I have a scientific brain. I'm like, well, we can't do a sort of experiment with one control situation where they're in school, or experimental situation, whatever, and one when they're not. Shelves. So we'll never know. But her daughter, who was homeschooled, not her whole school time, quite a bit of it, is at university, and she's coping well. No, we don't want to colour those folders. Now this cupboard has always confused me, because we've got this line coming down the side here and across the bottom. Now the bottom of the cupboard we can see is this line, but up the side this line disappears into this edge. I think we're going to have to end it there and do this edge. Look, there's a magnifying glass. Looks like mine. There it is then. Yeah, so yeah, she's doing fine. She's finding certain things hard, but then so are my boys, so you know, it happens. But she's doing okay. Her other daughter also did okay at uni, and she was at school, so you know, you just can't. And everyone's got a different, I tried to do that a bit darker inside the cupboard. Everyone's got a different personality and finds different things easy and hard, you know, regardless of anything else that's going on. You know, she took her daughter and her sons out of school pretty much because of their autism, meaning they were finding it quite difficult to cope. And it was interesting. I think some people felt she should have kept them in so they could build up a resilience, you know, and other people felt that, you know, it was better for them to be in an environment where they were more able to cope and relax. And I don't know, I can't say for sure which I think is best, really. I think we do need to try and build up resilience in situations, but we need to do it at a pace that we can cope with. If we just keep getting completely overwhelmed, it's not going to work, is it? So it's a bit difficult. So anyway, I but I never, homeschooling was not something I wanted for my boys. And then we had lockdown when I had to do a bit, but I've always been quite hands-on with school, with homework and things like that. Anyway, but luckily with lockdown their teachers set them work and things like that, so I didn't have to do loads. I just had to make sure they did what they were set, sort of thing. Now, how are we doing for time? Because I stopped the video, I've got no idea how long I've been chattering on for. I think I'm going to do the flower pots and bowls and things like that first before I finish. I'm going to choose I want a sort of almost terracotta colour. It needs to be something that looks different to the cupboards though. Maybe the Tuscan red mauve colour. Is this it? Yeah, 260. It's a bit darker, so I think it'll work. Now I'm having a look at everything to see, like we've got a teapot here, which I might do in this colour. I might do all the sort of china-y type items, if that makes sense. And it's got spots, so I think I might do that. Go over them. Just putting a little bit of shadow around the edge a bit. And then I'm just going to, really darken them in. Like that. Then our plant pots, let's come across the terracotta bird. Now this one's quite ornate. I'm going to start off by keeping it quite light and thinking maybe a little bit darker near the edge and at the bottom compared to the middle. Like that. Just going to build that colour up a little bit there and there, and then we'll pop in a pattern. So we'll keep with the dark on the edge and lighter in the middle, but we'll just put a little bit more pressure on the pencils like that, and then there, and then we've got that and that. There we go. So we've put a bit of a pattern in it without changing pencil. Now this one I don't think we need to put a pattern in, because although it's sort of stripy, I think we could just think that that's the way the pot's made, like it's a coil pot. If you've done any pottery you'll know what I mean, although it's quite a big coil pot, unless everything else is tiny. When I made a coil pot it was only about that high. I remember doing ceramics. It was very frustrating but relaxing at the same time, because you would partly make your pot, just put some shadow across those lines, and then leave it for next week, next lesson, which was fine. But when you came back next lesson, someone might have nicked the plastic bag you used to wrap it in, and so it dried out, or they'd just stolen it, because you were supposed to leave them in a sort of labelled. I'm thinking, do I do the cups? Yeah, I can do all the cups this colour. Or leave it in a labelled plastic bag, or scratch your initials on the bottom or something like that. But people would just take yours or get confused, whatever it was. So the only pots I ever actually finished and got done were ones that I made the whole pot in the whole lesson. But considering the lesson was, I think it was an hour, it might have been half an hour. Our lessons were half an hour then, but it might have been a double. There was plenty of time to make a little thumb pot or coil pot. So we managed to do it really. So I've had one. It was I'd made it into a sort of triangle shape. We've got our pot here to do. It was a bit odd because it was a thumb pot, so it was round on the base, but then I made the top sort of triangular just to make it a bit more interesting. It looked quite strange. But I then engraved a leafy pattern into it. Now I can't draw, so I was quite pleased with what I'd done. It was basically one line and a leaf, 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 you know, really simple. But it looked quite pretty when it was fired. Now, I don't have it anymore. That blind should have done that, shouldn't we? Do this plant pot first. This is the 73 that we used for the other blind. Goes quite nicely with the green wall, doesn't it? Okay, now back to our 260. Now, I think this birthday cake plate. See, basically, by using this same colour, it takes some of the confusing decision making away on this page, simplifies it for me, but hopefully when it's finished it would just look like it's melds together naturally and it doesn't look like I've just been a bit lazy. There we go. Oh, we've got this one. Let's go across this one here. Again, I'm going to just try and make it a bit darker around the edge, a bit lighter as we come in, and then put in the triangles. I think it's Super Bowl Sunday today. I expect my husband will want to stay up and watch it because he's off work tomorrow, but I don't really understand the rules. It looks a bit like rugby to me, and I don't particularly like rugby either. I think it's just because I've never understood it. Oh, cup. You know, I've never understood the rules because girls didn't play rugby when I was at school. They do now. And it always just looks a bit dangerous. But of course in your American football, I say as if you're all American, you're not. In the American football, people, they wear helmets and padding, which of course they don't in rugby. They probably should. This one, I'm not sure about the waistband. I think I won't because it wouldn't be ceramic, would it? But yeah, I don't know much about it. I don't know who the teams are, who would be likely to win or anything like that. But apparently some people like the commercials the best. It's quite interesting. And some people like the halftime show. I know there's been all sorts of famous people doing it. I find it interesting that, you know, soccer, or what we call football, is has more viewers because it's you know, the teams are worldwide, and yet we don't have like sort of halftime show and all that sort of thing when we have a World Cup. Maybe they'll start to, I don't know. I guess it's a budget thing, you know, you've got to pay the person who's doing it. I can't remember who's doing it this time. I did know, I think. I'm sure I saw an advert for it, but I don't know. Anyway, who knows? I'm sure husband will tell me because, as I say, I'm sure he'll watch it. Oh, we've got a pencil cup here. Then we've got the plant pot again, making it dark on the edges. Just keeping an eye on the time. I've got to go in a minute. Like that. Yeah, this will have to be my last bit. I usually go and make a cup of tea ready for Skype back now. I haven't got much to go, have I? There's this one up here. I think that's the last. I am going to check before I finish, just to be sure. I think so. Oh no, I've just spotted some down here. Look, there's a little pile of bowls and plates. I'm going to do those. If I'm late, I'm late. I won't be. It'll only take me a couple of minutes to make a drink. I think the pastries above, I think they're in a basket, and these are like containers. I think I'll leave those. I'm still going to double check again because obviously I missed that. I think it's okay actually. I think it's done so far. It's now looking a little bit brown, but I'm hoping that as I work through I can add in, there'll have to be some greys and blacks for our folders and filing cabinet and things like that, computers and briefcases and things, but we'll get some more warm colours in there somehow. But there we go for now. Thank you for watching today. Hopefully you'll come back tomorrow for the next part, but for now, thank you for watching and happy colouring.